Hi, I'm Mary Kopczynski, the CEO of Regalytics, with one last getaway at a friend's house in Connecticut. Hopefully I don't get struck by lightning. The regulators are still pretty much on vacation too. There were 11,074 alerts this week, but if you get rid of the CFPB complaints, there's only about 3,000. The regulator of the week is New Jersey. The governor, along with New Jersey CEO Council and my good friends at Social Finance, announced a very cool new Pay It Forward student loan program. If you enroll in a particular schooling program in New Jersey, for example, there's a nursing school, a cyber school at New Jersey Institute of Technology, an HVAC and welding program, you will get zero interest, no fee loans at no upfront cost, as well as free living stipends. And then all the loan payments you make after you get a job will be recycled back into the fund to pay it forward to other students. The topic of the week, again, is crypto. So, as some of you may remember, one of my favorite regulators is the U.S. Senate Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs. And the reason I love it is because it's a bunch of politicians talking about finance in the most dramatic ways possible on both sides of the spectrum. It also really demonstrates who's being lobbied by what groups. Anyway, Pat Toomey on the Republican side is asking for more information after learning that the FDIC may be improperly deterring banks from doing business with lawful crypto companies. According to whistleblower reports, personnel in the D.C. headquarters were urging its regional offices to request that banks refrain from expanding relationships with crypto companies. Meanwhile, this week, the Fed provided additional guidance for banking organizations engaging or seeking to engage in crypto asset-related activities. But if you really want to talk about discouraging crypto activity, well, take a look at DOJ in California serving a John Doe summons on SFOX, a crypto prime dealer based in LA, seeking information about any U.S. taxpayers who had 20,000 or more in crypto transactions from 2016 to 2021. They're going to verify those people paid taxes. Or maybe take a look at the SEC's charge of Dragon Chain and its founder for a 2017 unregistered ICO. Since we're on the SEC, I told you they've been super focused lately on insider trading, and it sounds like they caught 3 people who tipped and traded Equifax securities in advance of the company's big announcement about that massive cyber breach. Apparently, one of the people wrote Blue Horseshoe in the memo of a check, which is apparently a reference to the coded language that was used in the movie Wall Street. The FDIC this week issued guidance on insufficient funds fees for the same unpaid transactions, so that, I think, makes me happy. It seems very not right to bust someone with insufficient funds more than once on the same thing. New York's governor signed Senate Bill 9121 that is extending the deadline by a year for credit card companies to get ready for longer grace periods for credit card reward points. Colorado is getting $51 million in federal funds for low and zero emission transit projects across the state. And Texas, the Lone Star state, is dropping its cyber breach notification rules because there's now a federal one in place and they want to reduce regulatory burden. The U.S. House of Representatives introduced a bill that would prohibit the availability of funds for the Department of Defense for organizing, promoting, or hosting drag shows as a means of diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. Oddly specific, but drag queens are all the rage right now. And why not end this update with drugs and booze, because the Department of Health and Human Services released the results of last year in drugs, and the 19 to 30-year-olds are going wild. Marijuana and hallucinogen use in the past year has increased significantly, reaching historic heights since 1988. Nicotine vaping continues to go up. Marijuana vaping, which went down briefly in 2020, is back up to pre-pandemic levels. Alcohol remains the most used substance. Binge drinking, which is 5 or more drinks in a row, rebounded in 2021 from a historic low in 2020, and high-intensity drinking, which is 10 or more drinks in a row, has been steadily increasing over the past decade and in 2021 reached its highest level ever recorded since first measured in 2005. And that's it this week for Regalytics. Seriously, come get a subscription because the fall is coming and there is going to be a lot changing. Some of you have commented or written me privately to say, how do you do this every week? And it really is that easy. I usually look at the alerts on my phone, and if they're interesting, I save them in a folder and I download them to Excel right before I do this. I usually do it when I first wake up, like one eye open in bed, but sometimes I read them when I'm bored, waiting in a pediatrician's office or riding the subway. And sometimes I do them all in one sitting at the desktop. It really just depends. So come get a demo. It takes like 5 minutes. Until then, see you next Wednesday.